news. What's happening in the world of Etsy in the past, 2 weeks, because I was off gadabouting last week. Let's dive straight into it. So, first thing, quite a lot of people are commenting on this. They're seeing a change to the adverts, a temporary new maximum daily budget as part of our ongoing commitment to keep Etsy safe and safe and trusted marketplace. We're testing a new limit on your Etsy ads budget due to risk factors in your recent shop or order activity. To avoid changes like this in future, make sure you're following best practices for your shop, like adding valid tracking info to your orders and consistently shipping on time. Now, it's not new that they've done this, but it does seem new that they're doing this a bit more. Yes, consistently shipping on time's a good one. Not happy with this. Got to add valid tracking info because that's still not possible in all countries, in all shops. They were doing this, like my mum was hit with a reserve because she couldn't have tracking on all her items. But anyway, so Etsy are temporarily reducing, seems like a few people's daily budget. Does make sense that they don't want to pump it all the way up so that you're supposedly getting thousands of orders. I am going to talk this week about how to figure out your Etsy ads budget or play around with that, find out if it's profitable, because too many people just are doing a race to get the maximum budget thinking it will get them loads of sales. It won't. It won't necessarily. Here's another one. Sellers are being surprised. So they are surprised that they're getting a warning from Etsy support saying that they're not meeting the following customer service standards. So on-time shipping or message response rate. And if you don't catch up with this, if you don't do what we're saying, it could result in your whole shop being reduced in search visibility. So basically you'll get seen less in search. The people are being surprised by this, but this was covered. It is in your dashboard. In this, I can't remember what the area is called, but in your dashboard, where you're seeing your star seller stats, underneath you've got your service standard stats. And if you don't, these have the same sort of time period, but are a little more lenient than your star seller. And if you don't meet these, you will be penalized by Etsy. You're going to rank lower in search. So the fact that so many people are being surprised by this means that they haven't kept up to date with the news. So subscribe, come here every weekend, Saturday or Sunday, depends. And I'll keep you up to date on what Etsy's up to, hopefully. This one came in during the week. I did cover it in a standalone video in my channel, but I know some people only come for the news, for the updates. So Etsy has updated their rules for the GPSR, the General Product Safety Regulations in the EU. So basically, you can now opt out, a shop-wide opt-out of selling to the EEA, European Economic Area, and Northern Ireland for physical and digital goods. So people are really happy. This is a cool thing. And coming soon, Etsy are working to provide you with trusted, authorized representative service providers. So hopefully they're going to vet them, and they're saying they'll make sure it's cost effective. So yeah, we'll see how that happens. But if you don't know, if you haven't kept up to date with this, as of, I think it was the 13th of December, things have changed if you're selling to the EU, in that they want to make sure that things are safe for people. So you have to be able to prove that your items are safe. This is going to avoid, they're also, Etsy are going to be able to add a new bit in your listing form where you're able to add in your manufacturer details. Now, we don't know what level of details you need here, but it's like a safety sheet, or that you've done, that you're aware what your items are and you've thought about how they might harm people and how you've mitigated that harm, is the best way I can put it. We don't really know. We don't have enough guidelines yet to know what level of details is needed here. But most importantly, if you're not in the EU, you need an authorised representative who is in the EU, who basically takes responsibility for your items if anything goes wrong, if anyone is hurt with your items. So you're going to have to pay somebody to be your responsible person. So most of us have not found a good way to do this. If you are a small shop with only a couple of sales a month or a couple of sales a year to the EU, it's not necessarily going to be worth it. So we now have the ability to opt out of selling to the EU, and it's right there in your dashboard settings. It's under settings options and scroll down to choose how you sell to GPSR states. If you're not sure about the regulations, just switch off don't sell to the EEA for physical or digital until we get more information. Probably, unless you've got massive sales to the European Union, this is not going to make much of a difference to you. If you have massive sales, then it might be more viable for you to hire an approved representative and figure out everything. But this is the best we've got so far. Oh yeah, Jessica, I stole this. My friend Jessica at E-Rank spotted this one, but Etsy, hun, you okay? This is an error message, and boy, okay, it's silly. There's an automatic alert thing, but yeah, your error messages shouldn't quite be like that. Tidy them up a bit, Etsy. The latest version of the Etsy newsletter was out. There's not a whole lot in it. There's talking about Black Pride Month, I think it was. There's talk they had a visit to the UK, which will mean London. Apparently London's the only place. But there is going to be an event. I don't really even understand what they're talking about. An inside look at Etsy's approach to seller research. Seller research and feedback play a critical role in shaping the Etsy platform. Join key leaders from Etsy's research and product teams for an in-depth conversation about our approach to research and development. So it's probably worth checking in on that. They might give us little nuggets about things they're changing for us sellers. So maybe it's in a couple of weeks' time. And yeah, people always ask me after the financial reports, how has Etsy shares done? So the graph on the left is like the 3 months, and it does look bad. Definitely. And if you just look at the past week or the past month, it definitely looks bad. So if we scroll out, however, the year to date, this is the graph on the right, the year to date, around about November, it was worse. So it's not the most bad. But definitely the stocks have taken a tumble after the 2024 financial results. Not a surprise, Etsy didn't do great, but stocks have been taking a tumble for a while. But I don't think I've shown you this graph in a very long time. Here we have the Etsy stocks over all time, sort of since it floated on the stock exchange. And we can see, although the stocks are down from their heady heights mid-pandemic, they're about level with where they were pre-pandemic. Now, probably we might have expected them to grow a bit in the intervening years, but if you only look at where it was in 2021, 2022, you'll go, stocks are way down. But if you look at where we came from, we know the pandemic was a glitch where Etsy did better than it probably should have done, and that's making everything look way worse. I'm not being Pollyanna and saying everything's great about Etsy. It definitely isn't, but it could be worse. But let me know what you think. And finally, I think this is finally, we'll see if I threw in an extra slide. We've just been keeping an eye on the brand new to this year top Etsy shops. I'm going to have a dig around in this one properly. I already know there's some issues with it, but it is the number 4 shop that's opened this year to date. It's only 2 months old and it's averaging 20 sales a day. It has had over 1,000 sales in 2 months, really, in the first 2 months of the year. So we will deep dive into this. As I say, there are some issues, but I am glad to see people doing well at the least. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much. And yeah, I will hopefully see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe and do all the stuff. So,